Hey, it's Mike Cambrett with FlipNerd.com. Welcome back for another exciting VIP interview where I interview some of the most successful real estate investing experts and entrepreneurs in the industry to help you learn and grow. Today, I'm joined by Spencer Caldwell. He's an Arizona real estate investor that specializes in buying houses at the auction, generally on behalf of other clients. In fact, his company has purchased over 7,000 houses over the past 7 years at auction. And it's a fascinating model. It's a fascinating business. I know there's a lot of people that are intrigued by buying at the auction. So we're going to lay it all out today. Spencer's going to lay it all out for us. Before we get started, though, let's take a moment to recognize our featured sponsors. RealtyMogul.com is an online marketplace for real estate investing, connecting borrowers and capital from accredited and institutional investors. Get a rehab loan fast and close in as little as 10 days. Rates start as low as 9%. We'd also like to thank National Real Estate Insurance Group, the nation's leading provider of insurance to the residential real estate investor market. From individual properties to large-scale investors, National Real Estate Insurance Group is ready to serve you. Please note, the views and opinions expressed by the individuals in this program do not necessarily reflect those of FlipNerd.com or any of its partners, advertisers, or affiliates. Please consult professionals before making any investment or tax decisions, as real estate investing can be risky. Hey, Spencer, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Good. I'm sorry?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on. For those that don't know, I normally record these shows earlier in the day. We're recording this a little bit later in the day because Spencer had an auction to go to. So, I know we're going to talk a little bit more about it. The fascinating thing to me has been that in Texas, for example, where I'm at, auctions are one day a month in every county in the state, as you know, and then in Arizona, they're Monday through Friday, right?
Right, correct. Yeah, the major county here, Phoenix, Maricopa County, Monday through Friday, and a lot of the other side counties too. But Maricopa County, the Phoenix greater area, yeah, every single day, Monday through Friday. So it's a lot of work.
They keep you hopping, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's better, having it one day a month or spreading it out.
I know, yeah. I was kind of thinking about that too. There's pros and cons, I guess. So.
Yeah, there is. It's probably a volume basis, and maybe there's some more cleanup to do here in Arizona than other states, so they do it every day. But traditionally, they've always done it every day. So.
Okay, that's interesting. So, hey, before we start talking more about the auction, for those that don't know you, talk a little about your background and kind of how you got into this, and then how you've evolved to where you are now. I mean, I know you also have a huge brokerage with 200 agents and property management business and some other things, but just kind of talk about, tell your story a little bit.
All right, great. So my intention growing up never was to do real estate. It wasn't something I loved at an early childhood. I randomly had a friend in high school had a dad as a real estate agent that told me I'd be a great real estate agent. So I've always kind of remembered that, but I had no dreams of doing it. I grew up on a pig farm in northern Arizona in Snowflake, and one of the largest pig farms in the world. My grandpa had up to 80,000 pigs at one point. And so I grew up on a farm and learned a great ethic, great work ethic, and just learned how to work hard on the pig farm. Moved to the city when I was 14 years old, and things changed. Now off the farm and in the city life. Went to high school in the city life, and then I went to college and studied biochemistry. I wanted to be a dentist, and I had all of school paid for my 4 years, and was headed out to dental school. And I wanted to work for a year before I left. And I had an uncle at the time, a great real estate mentor of mine, that came to me and said, "Hey, I've got a great opportunity for you to work here and save up some money before dental school." And I said, "I'll take it." So my plan was just to go work there a year. And this is 10 years ago, and I've never ever got out of real estate since. So I've been in real estate 10 years and just loved it. And since then, I was married 13 years ago, and I've got 4 kids, and so life goes on. And
you got your hands full, yeah.
Yeah.
So talk about how you got into the auction business. I mean, obviously there have been, like you said, maybe a little more cleanup in Arizona. I mean, is that just kind of the opportunity that fell in your lap, or talk about how you went from just the typical agent business into the auction business?
Right. Actually, as we speak, I'm going to pull up the very first property on the very first date that we bought it, because there's a little story to it. So basically, my first three years in real estate was very a booming time, starting in 2004 in Arizona. A lot of out-of-state investors, mainly it seemed like California, were coming to Arizona to buy properties. In fact, the first firm that I worked with at my uncle's, I think we went from managing 300 or 400 properties to over 2,500 properties just from out-of-state buyers within a 2-year period, from
Wow.
'04 to 3 year period. So
Wow.
there's a lot of people buying. So and that was just retail market. There wasn't auctions, and so obviously, in most markets in the U.S., especially here in Phoenix, a lot of people bought and they bought wrong. So the auction starts, and so
Yeah.
I'm looking here. The first one was in 2008, right at the end of 2008. But anyways, I had a friend of mine, also a neighbor, come to me, and he was a builder, and he basically said, no one's building loan, and he's a custom home builder and spec builder. He wasn't like one of these national big builders, just building homes, build homes, sell it, flip it. And he came to me and said, there's a lot of properties that are going to auction these days. Either you get down there, Spencer, and start bidding on properties for me and buying them, helping me buy these, or else I'm going to go down by myself. Do you want to help me? And I said, oh yeah, I'm in. I love the fast pace. I love the quick pace. I love it. And that's what auctions are. I mean, the moment you wake up, you are running 100 miles an hour until the moment you go to bed. And I like the fast pace, volume. So I went down there, and I'm looking at my spreadsheet, and it was a property actually in Queen Creek on Red Rock that we bought. And, the property, it was $95,000 that we bought it for. And that property today is probably got to be worth close to $200,000. It's bought at auction close to 7 years ago. So anyways, kind of exciting. And that's how I got thrown into the auctions, and it's been fun ever since. So
yeah. And I know you've got to be one of the largest auction buyers around. I mean, buying that type of volume, 7,000 houses in the last 7 years.
Right. Yeah. So we have purchased right around 7,000 in the 7 years, and there's quite a few people that buy at auctions, but we like to look at ourselves as probably buying some of the more properties than anyone in the past time. And we buy a lot of properties. I mean, trustee sales are exciting, and we help our clients, and so.
And how do you form a specialty in that area, and kind of what keeps people out? What is it that you guys are good at that maybe others aren't? Why would somebody want to be in that business, and how would they do well at it, I guess? Great.
So what separates me from others, or like you said, basically auctions are just a fast-paced game, and it's really the part-time investors. It works for if they're super smart. But it's more for the full-time guys, and so. I'm a full-time real estate guy, so I can focus on it full-time. But unfortunately, a lot of my investors aren't full-time. They're just part-time guys. They've got jobs, and so they need to rely on me. So we've got a way to track all these auction sales going to sell. There's 12 major trustees in Arizona, and you've got to track them. And there's just various methods that we use to track the data. So we're great at tracking the data, number one, and we compile that data and we send it out to our clients. And we just don't send you, here's all the couple hundred homes that are scheduled to go to auction today. We send one email the night before auction, and it has 3 attachments. And on those 3 attachments, you have a bulk list, which is all properties going to auction, but a lot of them don't have an opening bid. So if they don't have an opening bid, they're going to postpone or cancel. So in the auction business, when you first get into it and you don't know that there's a lot of postponements or cancellations, you can get frustrated, but that's just life in the auction business. It's no big deal. Sometimes a house can postpone for a year straight, and then finally it goes and it finally sells. And so no big deal. It's volume. So that bulk list, and then we in that one email there's a condensed list, which is all the properties going to auction with an opening bid. But the problem is sometimes these banks are protecting the note. They open it up at $100,000 and it's only worth $50,000. So one motivation or another, they're going to take the property back. And it doesn't make sense. So we create a pick list. I'm not saying that they're Spencer's picks. They're just saying that these properties have potential value or room or profit on them. So most of our clients don't open the bulk or condensed list, and unless they're looking for something specially that's not on the pick list, like, hey, I know this property on my street's going to auction. Why isn't it on Spencer's pick? Well, probably because it doesn't have an opening bid yet. It's going to postpone, or it just doesn't make financial sense. So our clients open up the pick list. It lists all the cities. Let me just look at it right here. Our pick list comes with the time it's going to auction, because auctions happen at 10, 11, 12, 12:30, and 2. There's some random times in between. It's not important. We track that for you. Produces the opening bid, which is the opening bid. A lot of clients say, well, I want to buy it under that. Well, too bad. The opening bid is the opening bid, okay? And we provide an address and a city and a bunch of other data that's not too important. What's important is we have a couple of value fields where we put some value to it. But we use, Zillow and tax comps, which are closed comps. But if you really want to get specific, I would suggest that, you ask me or one of our real estate agents what they have sold a property for in that neighborhood before, rather than just going off Zillow or just some random tax comps. You want to know what you can sell a property for. That's very important.
Sure.
So we produce all this important data. That sets me apart. And excuse me. Another thing is we answer our phone and our text message. I mean, I can't remember the last time that I've turned my phone off. I did for this interview here for minutes, but auctions are over with, so that they can wait, right?
All right.
There's nothing going. Auctions are totally over for today in Arizona.
So clients essentially say, hey, I want to buy. I'm willing to pay up to this amount, and then you go bid on their behalf.
Correct. And they'll communicate with me through calling me or emailing me or texting me, and they literally, off this list that I produce and send to them on the email, they literally send me a text and say, I like this address for this much. And then we go represent them and do our best to buy that property at that price or under.
Yeah. So what do you do in the instance that you have multiple clients that want the same property?
You're trumping me here. It's a great question. So fortunately, the Phoenix area, the pie is huge. Yeah. And most likely, you're not going to want a property that I want just because it's so big and our eyes are on different. So we don't really have that problem too often, okay? Where we have multiple clients on multiple properties. If we do, you think the value is going to be different from what I think it is. So my max bid is going to be different from your max bid. And so that quite easily, the highest bidder gets it. So that's what we do if there's multiple on the property.
Okay. So you work with a lot of different clients. So who comes to you? I mean, who is using you as a tool to acquire properties at the auction? Like, what does a typical profile look like? Okay,
so sorry, ask that question one more time.
So, like, who are your customers? Is it professional people? Is it out-of-state people? It's probably a little bit of everything, but in terms of anybody watching that says, hey, I might be interested in that, what does your typical customer look like, and I guess what are you looking for in a customer that you're going to serve? Okay,
great question. So we deal with it all across the board. We have buyers that are out of country, out of state, and in-state. Obviously, most of our buyers are in-state because they know the market most, but that doesn't limit that we work with a lot of people out of state and out of country. It seems like a lot of real estate agents, like today, I think out of the couple properties we picked up, I think at least one of them, so like at least 50% are real estate agents because they know the market, they know the comps, and they're into flipping themselves. And so it seems like real estate investors are also agents, just flipping on their own. So we deal with full-time investors that this is what they do. I got a call from a guy this morning that he's a full-time investor. This is what he does all day, every day. And I got a call from a guy that runs his own business today, and he doesn't have any time to look at the list. So it's really all across the board. We're set up, and I personally can help from the investor that knows a lot to the investor that knows a little. So we're set up to help any type of clients. Okay. And so talk a little bit about just generally buying at the auction. I mean, typically you're buying houses sight unseen, at least on the inside. Right. I know there's maybe some tricky ways around that sometimes, but talk a little bit about how your typical investor, somebody you're serving, or maybe even your agents, gather information to let somebody know what the repairs are on the inside. I mean, I buy plenty of houses where the repairs are far more than I even paid for the house. Of course, I'm in a low-cost market, but just talk a little bit about how people. I mean, that's really kind of half of the equation, right? Is what the repairs are like or the necessary updates. So, talk a little about how you kind of get around that. Great. So basically, we produce the list of all the properties going to auction the night before the next day. And you may think, why don't you produce that list sooner? Well, we can, and I have an early bird list, but it don't really matter much because you're going to be a dog chasing your tail because everything changes on the minute, on the hour with trustee sales. So if I give you a list today that it goes in a week, most chances are it's not going to go in a week. So it only makes sense to look at it the night before. Okay, I know it's quick. The next morning we produce an update list, because guess what? From 8 o'clock the night before to the next morning at 8 o'clock, there's a lot of changes, a lot postpone and cancel. So our clients know, for the most part, what's going. That doesn't mean they can postpone it at any time. Out of 15 properties that sold today, there's like 40 that postponed and canceled. So it happens a lot. So the clients identify a property they like and they want to bid on. And if they're out of state, obviously they can't drive over to the property. So we have drivers that can drive over and snap some pictures of the property and basically see what condition it's in. So, a lot of clients say, oh, I don't want to buy occupied. Well, if it's occupied, most likely it's probably going to be okay. Unlike a vacant property where there could be a lot of, they could have, let's see, a property we got today on 50th Street in Phoenix. The property, it appeared occupied from the drive-by. Then the clients who bought it actually got into the property who bought it today, so that now they got on, and it actually was vacant. It appeared occupied because the water was still on. All the blinds were shut, and we didn't want to bother anyone if it was occupied. So they got in it, and the property overall was fine. The only problem was they did, the kitchen and the cabinets were there. It had nice corian and, nice wood floors. But for some reason, they took the master bathroom vanity and countertop. So you just never know what you're going to get, and that's part of trusted sell. But you got to throw that into your pro forma. You got to say, hey, if I know I can sell this for $150, then I've got to be at this number to make a profit for the sight unseen. But for the most part, you know what you're getting yourself into. You're going to know if it's vacant or occupied. If it's vacant, you can get some pictures of the inside through the windows, unless they've shut them all. Yeah. So I mean, I don't have any horror stories. Like I'll have new clients call me all the time and say, what if they dump cement down the drains? You got to redo all the plumbing. Well, that doesn't happen.
Right.
So but there is stuff. I mean, you're buying at your own risk. It's trustee sales, and all sales are final. So you will find some things that can, that will be there that you didn't plan on. But just plan for that in your budget.
Right. So. And so when houses are occupied there and you have to get somebody out, what is that like in Arizona? Some states are obviously much harder than others. Right. What is it like to get somebody out? Is it just a normal eviction process?
It is. It's a normal eviction process, but from what I hear from my investors, that is, we still live in a cowboy state, and it seems like for the landlords, the homeowners, that the state laws in Arizona really veer and help them out more than the occupant of the home. So it's really just an average of 30 days from what I've heard my investors if they buy an occupied home. But for the most part, if you buy occupied at trustee sale, you're going to show up and say, hey, I'm the new owner. I have different plans for this house. You need to get out. And so most of the time, I would say over 50% of the time, they'll move out and you're good. They're out. You got a vacant house to start working on. But if they're going to fight it, it's only going to be about 30 days average to get them out for the full eviction process.
Okay. And so what's your gauge on Arizona real estate right now? It's obviously come roaring back over the past year. Right. I mean, where do you think things are at, and where do you see things going specifically in Arizona?
Man, in the 10 years I've done real estate here, and I've had family members that have done it their whole life. We've been through a lot of cycles, and I personally have been through a lot of little cycles within the 10 years. And to me, real estate in Arizona still makes sense to buy, even as a buy and hold, because we're in a Sunbelt state. Our population seems to increase monthly still here in the Phoenix area.
Yep.
Great weather. It's a big retirement area. A lot of people from the cold country come down here. Just in this little the population of Mesa, where I personally live and our headquarters office are, I heard that Mesa increases its population by over 200,000 people in the winter. And so a lot of these people that come and visit for the winter eventually retire here. So Arizona is still a great state. And you can still, if you buy right, you can still cash flow off your mortgage. I lived in one house in one neighborhood and ended up moving to another because I liked it. And I'm in the business, so I turned that one into a rental. And it still cash flows several $100s over what the mortgage is. So that's the good thing, is we can still cash flow in Arizona. As far as buying and flipping, there's a lot of property still going to auction, and you can still buy under value and put some money into it, and end up putting on the market and make some money. So the market's still great in Arizona. We haven't fully recovered as far as where prices were from the downturn. So we haven't fully recovered. So there's still room.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. One of the things that I always talk to people about, like I said, I told you this beforehand, I love just meeting other entrepreneurs and kind of hearing their story about how they grew their business. And so, in addition to growing a large bidding business on the behalf of other clients at the auction, I know you've built a brokerage of about 200 people, 200 agents, right? So can you talk a little bit about that and how that's grown in the face of kind of adversity in Arizona over the last few years, and maybe just talk about the business side of your brokerage?
Okay, great. So I am a co-founder of Gentry Real Estate Group. My partner is Jacob Ash, and we have basically focused. When we first started Gentry, we didn't really have a vision of where we wanted to take it and where we wanted to go. We just knew we wanted to do real estate. So eventually we attracted some great partners, if you will, that their visions were bigger than mine and Jacob's, and they're excited for what Gentry is and what it could become. And a couple of those have really taken the bull by the horns, if you will, and helped Jacob and I grow our visions and helped us recruit agents. And we've got a great brokerage where we've got 3 offices, one in Mesa, our headquarters where I'm at, one in Chandler, and one in Scottsdale. So we have 3 offices here in the Phoenix area and growing. And it's just a great opportunity. We're investor friendly, so agents that like to work with investors like I do, we can teach them a lot of those great tools. We have so much training to get new agents. If you just want to get into real estate and become an agent, we have so much hands-on training and the best trainers in the state, the most qualified. So that's really helped us. And we're looking for people that want to be in real estate and want to grow their business and want to become something in real estate. And so those are the agents that we like to attract. Okay.
And do you have plans to grow more throughout the state and other states, or what's the big plan, or what can you share?
Oh man,
you take over the world?
Like I said, I've got so many great partners around me that just surround me and people. So my vision, to be honest, is just these trustee sales take up a lot of my time. So when I wake up in the morning until almost when I need to go home to my family. So. But my small little vision is, I would like to get more agents. I wouldn't mind having a brokerage in a couple different states. Not every state. Something manageable. I'm 34 and I need to build up some type of retirement. And and I've got 20 years and 30 years. So whenever I want to retire, I love working. So as my wife says, I'll never retire. But I've got some time, and we're young, and we want to do things right and become something great and leave a big footprint in real estate. So I don't know where it's exactly taking me, but we're excited to do it and excited to do it right. So
yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, just want to cover kind of one more thing. If for people that have never bought houses at the auction, and I know your specialty is in Arizona, but can you kind of give a crash course, maybe just for the next 3 or 4 minutes, on what people need to consider, like every step of the process, things that they need to consider, who they need to align with, and stuff like that? Can you kind of give an overview of what they would need to do to get started?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking that. So basically, if you'd like to buy auctions in Arizona, my suggestion is to go to gentryaz.com and click over to trustee sales auctions. And in there, you can put your name and your number and your email, and it will send a response over to me so that I know you're interested in buying at auction. Or you can email me at spencercaldwell@gentryaz.com. That's GENTRYAZ.com. You can email me and just say, hey, I'm interested in trustee sales in Arizona, in which I personally will get back to you, or one of my partners will get back to you and explain to you the full process, what buying at trustees entails, what we need from you. So that's what I would suggest. If you're interested in buying at trustee sales, is just get with me. Let me know you're interested. At that time, we'll add you to our email list so you can see all the homes going to auction. It's a free list, and it's an awesome list. It's an awesome list to have. It's worth a lot of money. So if you'd like to get going at trustee sales, just contact me, and I'll tell you the next step. So I make it sound like it's a super simple system and anyone can do it. There is some complicated things to it, and that we'll go over that one-on-one. But and there's some just things you need to learn. One of them that's coming to my mind is people, especially locally here in Arizona, say, hey, I want to buy properties, but I only want to be in this city or this zip code in this street. Well, it's not about that. There's no gold in any certain city in Arizona or any certain zip code. If the property has room in it, the property has room in it. If you can buy it under value and buy it right, you're going to be able to put some money in it and sell it for market value. So don't focus on one area in Phoenix. That would be a clue I can give you right now that's coming off the top of my mind. So
yeah, I know when I first started, I was naive and we wanted to focus on just a couple of cities. And very quickly, you're like, I'm in the opportunity business. If there's an opportunity somewhere, you know, okay, it's an hour and a half away. That stinks, but it's an opportunity, and I've got to do it. So
yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Awesome. Well, hey Spencer, thanks so much for joining today and sharing some of your knowledge. I mean, you've got some great success stories, so congratulations on that.
Hey man, thanks.
And we wish you all the best going forward here. So thanks so much for your time. I hope you stay in touch. Okay. And we'll add links down below the video for anybody that wants to track you down or learn more about how to buy at auction, or maybe try to get a hold of some of your data, some of your rich data.
Perfect, man.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, buddy.
I'll see you.
Are you a member of FlipNerd.com, the most robust real estate investing platform in existence, where you can find off-market wholesale deals and great vendors literally in your market? You can get access to advice from experts and learn about local clubs and events right in your backyard. If not, please visit FlipNerd.com and register for a free account. You can register in less than a minute. It's pretty much the coolest site that's ever existed in the real estate investing industry, so get on over to FlipNerd.com.